Thank you, Paul, and welcome everyone to the Green Space. We have a wonderful evening of music in store for you. Looks like traffic is actually pretty good getting to the Holland Tunnel here, but it's even nicer right here in the Green Space. A very special evening planned. Welcome to Classical Up Close, where we give you intimate introductions to some of the up-and-coming artists of our day. Having said that, we're live in the Green Space, and we've presented so many amazing people have been right here in the Green Space. Joshua Bell, Anna Netrebko, Renee Fleming, Long Long was just here last week, and so many others. We celebrate these artists in a unique setting, and we give you a chance to get to know them a little bit all at the same time. Tonight, we'll be meeting three young artists, Teddy Abrams, Stefan Jackiw, and Beatrice Rana. All of them have careers that are totally taking off. Our first performer received high praise from the Boston Globe, praised for his playing, for its uncommon musical substance, and that it was striking for its intelligence and sensitivity. Stefan Jackiw has appeared as a soloist with many major orchestras, including Boston and New York, Philadelphia, Chicago, and many others. He's collaborated with some of the best, Jeremy Dank, Stephen Isserlis, and Yo-Yo Ma. He holds both a Bachelor's of Arts from the Harvard University as well as an artist diploma from New England Conservatory, and is the recipient of the prestigious Avery Fisher Career Grant. Performing with Stefan is pianist Anna Polonsky, who's been praised by the San Francisco Chronicle for her dazzling virtuosity, and the New York Times calls her someone to watch. Please welcome violinist Stefan Jackiw and pianist Anna Polonsky, who will perform two movements from Mozart's Violin Sonata number 27 live right here on WQXR.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Is this on? Okay, there we go. Thanks all for being here this afternoon, or I should say this evening. It's really great to be back here on WQXR, and I'm thrilled to be playing with one of my favorite people and favorite musicians, Anna Polonsky. We'll be playing a sonata by Mozart. This is his sonata in G major, Koschel 379. He wrote it when he was 25 years old. And this piece is in two movements, and each movement is, I think, remarkable for different reasons. The first movement is an allegro, but it begins with actually a slow adagio introduction. And I think in this adagio, I hear Mozart looking back to the Baroque period. For me, this adagio is almost like a Baroque overture, both in its grandeur and in its ornamentation and ornateness. And when we finally get to the allegro proper, I'm always struck by how, instead of Mozartian, actually Beethovenian this allegro is. It's filled with kind of fist-shaking fury that I usually associate with Beethoven, but we find that Mozart actually had inside him as well. And the second movement is something completely different. It's a theme in variations that's quintessential Mozartian perfection. Only Mozart could conjure such different emotional worlds with such seemingly simple thematic material. So here is Mozart's Sonata for Violin and Piano, Koschel 379.
Violinist Stefan Jackiw and Anna Polonsky, Mozart's Violin Sonata number 27. I'm Elliot Forrest. We're live right here in the green space, live on the radio on WQXR. That was great, beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So, both your parents were physicists. How did you avoid the science field?
Still are physicists. I avoided it because I had no talent for it, so there was no choice in the matter.
And this double degree, I know a couple of people have done this. I'm trying to figure out how you actually go to, both Harvard and the New England Conservatory at the same time?
At the same time, so now there's a double degree that's a 5-year program, but when I went, that program did not yet exist. So I was a 4-year undergrad at Harvard, and for 2 of those years, I did an artist diploma at NEC. And it sounds more difficult than it is. Actually, this program...
I was thinking the same thing.
Yes. This program at NEC, I just took lessons and gave a recital once a year and got to study with my mentor, Donald Weilerstein, which is kind of one of the reasons why I am here today playing for you.
And you've cited Yo-Yo Ma as an influence on you. In what ways?
Well, I think anyone who's passionate about anything, when they see Yo-Yo Ma do what he does, appreciates his kind of sincere enthusiasm and the way in which every performance that I've seen him give, it seems like he's really putting everything he has on the line. And as a listener and as a fellow musician, that's something that I appreciate and admire tremendously.
Thank you again for being here. Once again, Stefan Jackiw, thank you so much. Our next guest is having quite a year. She's only 24. But has already played the world's great concert stages and with the most esteemed orchestras. She's just finished a run with the Pittsburgh Symphony, and later this week she'll be performing in a little venue called Carnegie Hall with the Philadelphia Orchestra and conductor Yannick Nézet-Séguin. We actually will be broadcasting that concert on Friday. You can hear it live right here on WQXR. This afternoon she's going to play Ravel. Please welcome Beatrice Rana, who will play A Boat on the Ocean by Maurice Ravel live in the green space on WQXR. Music of Maurice Ravel, A Boat on the Ocean, performed by pianist Beatrice Rana, live here in the green space on WQXR. That was beautiful.
Thank you.
So I understand, if I understand it right, you've aged 2 years since you started playing that. You're 26, right?
Yes. I was like, they will think I'm younger, but yes.
Okay, good. So unlike Stefan Jackiw, whose parents were not pianists, both your parents were. A lot of music in your house.
Yeah, a lot of noise. My parents are pianists, and actually the only transgressive one of the family is my sister, who is a cellist. So that's it.
Still a lot of music in the house then, obviously. Was that something you think because your parents were both pianists that you had to play, or was this something you really wanted to do once you discovered it?
None of them. I think that it's just because I saw them playing every day, and I thought it was something absolutely normal, as it is, having lunch. And that's why I started to play the piano. And I remember that the first time, actually, I went to normal school. So when I was doing my elementary school, I wanted to do homework with a friend of mine. And she invited me to her house. And as soon as I stepped in, I realized that there was no piano.
Wasn't there? Everybody has lunch, but not everybody plays the piano.
Exactly. That's when I understood that.
So, Carnegie Hall, you're playing with an orchestra. Does what you do change from orchestra to orchestra and conductor to conductor?
Yeah, and actually I enjoy that very much because it's, I think that pianists among musicians are the most lonely ones because, of course, we are independent. We can do everything by ourselves, which is an advantage sometimes, but not all the times. And that's why I enjoy very much to play with orchestras and conductor, because that's also a great way to take, new inspirations and new ideas and new energies.
You were a silver medal winner with the Van Cliburn International Competition. Are those stressful, fun, somewhere in the middle?
Nightmare? No, I mean it's of course it's great opportunity for young musicians, and without competitions I wouldn't be here today. So I'm very grateful to have gone through this process, and I'm also very lucky that I was done by the age of 20, so which is very young. So I could just get out of this very stressful atmosphere and enjoy music at its best, with concerts, just sharing music with other musicians.
Well, let's share some more music now. What are we going to hear? You're going to play La Valse?
Yes, another Ravel, but slightly more extrovert than what you heard. It's La Valse. And but I wanted to pick these two pieces because actually these two pieces are both written also for the orchestra. But you will see in a very different way what Ravel then transcribed for the piano solo.
All right, well, let's hear it. Beatrice Rana, live in the green space on WQXR. Wow. Beatrice Rana, live in the green space on WQXR. Maurice Ravel's La Valse. Thank you so much. One more time, Beatrice Rana. Let's hear it for her. Spectacular. Don't forget, you can hear Beatrice live on WQXR this Friday night, performing with the Philadelphia Orchestra, 8 o'clock, hosted by WQXR's Clemency, Burton-Hill, and Jeff Spurgeon. I'm Elliot Forrest. We're live in the green space tonight and live on the radio here on WQXR, listening to some of the new and exciting artists on the musical landscape. We have... I'm bumping into things. We have one more set of musicians for you tonight, and if you're a fan of CBS Sunday Morning, you may already be familiar with one of them since he was featured just on the show just a little over a week ago. I just happened to catch it and saw it, and I'm so thrilled he's here this evening. Teddy Abrams is a conductor, composer, pianist, clarinetist, and music director of the Louisville Orchestra and the Brit Festival in Oregon. He's worked with the Detroit and New World Symphony as assistant conductor, and he's guest conducted a dozen or so other orchestras. He also has a career as a pianist and a clarinetist, and we're going to hear some of those piano skills this evening. Performing with him is cellist Oliver Herbert, who is only in his early 20s and already played with some of the great orchestras of the world, including San Francisco and the Chicago Symphonies. Teddy Abrams calls him the next big thing. Please welcome Teddy Abrams and Oliver Herbert, who will perform a cello sonata by Claude Debussy live on WQXR from the green space. Cello Sonata by Claude Debussy, performed by cellist Oliver Herbert and pianist Teddy Abrams. I'm Elliot Forrest, live in the green space here on WQXR. That was great. Before I let you go, tell us how did you first meet? How did you meet Teddy?
Well, it's funny because actually Teddy and I we just met yesterday, but it was as if we had known each other for a long time because we both grew up in San Francisco. We have the same kind of musical circle there, and so both of us had quite a bit to talk about because we knew a lot of things about the other, and so it's nice to finally not only meet but play with Teddy, and that's basically how we met.
Lovely. I'm going to let you go because Teddy's going to play solo here, but he'll be back. Let's hear it one more time for Oliver Herbert. So before you play, I just want to get to know you just a little bit. How long have you been with the Louisville?
This is the end of my 5th season there, so I'm about to start my 6th, which is actually quite a long time now, well, percentage-wise of my current years.
Yes. I saw the CBS Sunday morning piece. It was really great. And one of the things that it reminded me of, and I've talked about this before, is that Gerard Schwartz once said to me that when you're the music director of a city like this, especially this size, you're not just the music director of the orchestra, you're the music director of the city itself. It seems you've embraced that.
100%. You have to adopt the city where you are going to conduct. If you're going to take an orchestra with a name of a city, you have to make that city a place that you love. And it's not just looking at the community and recognizing what's already great, it's also looking at the community and recognizing where it can go. And I think in terms of leadership and what we need in our field, it's all about not just having a vision and not just having ideas, but having the will and the fortitude to be on the ground and make that vision happen every day. Because I can tell you, it doesn't happen by itself. Great ideas are actually all around us. Many people have them, but the amount of time and effort it takes to get them off the ground is quite extraordinary. And I love Louisville. It's an amazing place. If you haven't been, I highly recommend you come out there. It's not a place that you might know a lot about unless you go to the Derby every year or if you drink our fine products from Kentucky. But this is the thing, the city is vibrant and it's full of life and it's full of creative energy. And I see it as my job to sell that to the rest of the world and sometimes to ourselves, because back there, that's something that needs to happen too.
Well, I'm big on good music and bourbon, so I'm there.
No reason not to be there. Yeah.
You have another gig, the Brit Festival, which has nothing to do with being in Britain. Is that right?
Yes, that everyone asked me what that is. The Brit Festival is a wonderful summer orchestra program in Southern Oregon. It's an all-star orchestra, and we draw players from pretty much the entire United States and many of the really great orchestras. And it's an incredible little spot in Southern Oregon. So we put on concerts there every year in an incredible, gorgeous venue. And if you're out there, that's where you'll see Oliver, because he's going to be soloing with us in the Elgar Concerto this coming summer.
Beautiful. You're going to play for us. What are we going to hear?
I'm going to play a little piece of my own. It's called The Border, and not the B-O-A-R. I never was asked that. The Border, as in B-O-R-D-E-R. And I'm sure you can figure out why. You'll hear. This is a piece well, now I'm telling you, it's influenced by Latin American music and Latin jazz, and in a way that maybe Copland did in the El Salon Mexico, thinking of our popular music as a bridge between what we do and the people. So that was kind of what I was imagining in perhaps an even broader sense for today's context.
All right, well, let's hear Teddy Abrams live in the green space on WQXR. The Border by composer, pianist, conductor Teddy Abrams, live right here in the green space. Great. We're going to bring back cellist Oliver Herbert right now for one final piece. We're going to hear Mahler's Adagietto from his Symphony No. 5, performed by Teddy Abrams and cellist Oliver Herbert. Is this your arrangement? Yeah, Teddy's arrangement. Let's hear it for him one more time. Beautiful arrangement of the Adagietto from Mahler's Symphony No. 5, an arrangement by Teddy Abrams with pianist Teddy Abrams and Oliver Herbert, the cellist. I'm Elliot Forrest. We're live from the Green Space. Let's hear it for all our performers tonight. Stefan Jackiw and pianist Anna Polonsky. Pianist Beatrice Rana. Where are they? There you are. And of course, Teddy Abrams and Oliver Herbert. Thank you all so much for being here. I just want to remind you, next Tuesday night, June 11th, we'll be celebrating Pride Month and marking the 50th anniversary of the Stonewall Uprising with a concert here in the Green Space with Met Opera star Anthony Roth-Costanzo. Get your tickets now. Before we throw it up to Paul upstairs, live back on the radio, I'm Elliot Forrest. Thank you so much for being here, and once again, let's hear it for all our performers tonight.